Brilliance Audio presents Rules of Surrender by Christina Dodd, performed by Karen Cass. England, 1839. Adorna, Viscountess Ruskin, looked at the ornate lettering on the calling card in her gloved hand, then up at the tall limestone townhouse. In London's overcast March sunlight, the place looked respectable, if slightly shabby, and while this neighbourhood had been fashionable in the days of Adorna's youth 30 years before, many of England's best families still lived along this street. That information allowed her hope. Tucking the calling card into her pocketbook, she mounted the steps and rang the bell. At once the door opened. A butler stood there, a proper butler of the old school, in a powdered wig and knee breeches. He summed her up in a single comprehensive glance. His summation produced a bow so obsequious his corset creaked, and in an accent that was almost more upper-class than young Queen Victoria's, he said, "How may I help you, madam?" "I am Viscountess Ruskin." From his expression, she knew he recognised her name, although whether for her wealth, her connections, or her notoriety she didn't know. Nor did she care. Adorna had long ago grown into her role as the most beautiful woman in England. Taking a step back to allow her entrance, he said, "My Lady Ruskin, we at Miss Setterington's Distinguished Academy of Governesses are honoured." As she stepped inside, she smiled at him with the admiration she showed every man, regardless of his rank or age. "And you are?" A dark flush started beneath his cravat and dyed his cheeks and forehead, but his demeanour never changed. "I am Cushion, my lady." "Cushion, what a lovely name." The creaky old butler's lips lifted ever so slightly. "Thank you, my lady." "There's that smile. I knew you had one." Adorna enjoyed coaxing cheer out of the sourest puss. "Cushion, I've come to speak to the proprietors of this establishment." He snapped his fingers, and a tow-headed serving boy ran forward to accept her hat and coat. With her thumb she rubbed a smudge off his chin. "You look very much like my son at your age," she said. "Right down to the flower." "I've been helping cook with the baking," the lad said. "Wynter used to do that too," she confirmed, and reluctantly let him go. So many changes had occurred in her life lately. Changes were good, of course. Of course they were. "Miss Hannah Setterington is currently assisting a countess," Cushion said, "but if you would allow me, I will see if they have concluded their business." "Thank you, that is most acceptable." While the butler made his stately way across the foyer, she assessed her surroundings. Although the tables were old-fashioned, everything here sparkled with polish and smelled of beeswax. Impressive. Very well tended. She relaxed infinitesimally. The butler rapped on massive double doors, and at a call from within, entered. He returned almost at once. "Miss Hannah Setterington and the Countess have concluded their business. If my lady would come this way." As they neared the office, an elderly woman, stooped, heavily veiled and wrapped against March's chill, stepped into the foyer on the arm of a tall woman. In a creaking voice the Countess said, "Miss Setterington, I am delighted with the companion you found me. You may be assured of my continued patronage." This was Miss Setterington. Startled, Adorna studied the young woman in black bombazine. She hadn't expected the proprietress to be so lacking in years, yet Miss Setterington's easy manner bespoke experience in dealing with the peevish and crotchety. Indeed, she patted the gloved hand on her arm as she handed the Countess over to Cushion. "Thank you, my lady. We are always anxious to be of service." With a smile and a curtsy, she turned to Adorna. "And we are anxious to be of service to you too, my lady. If you would come into the office."